cream pie.
Hey,
Cream
hey,
pie. Give me a cream pie.
Daylight come on.
Cream pie. Yeah, I'm calling you right now.
Hey, Papa.
What's up, Papa?
All right, you're on speaker. Do your thing. Glorious. And the echoes of the cream snaps shall be remembered. All right, you want to dig right into this Sunday?
Let's jump right into it, man.
All right.
That's 4 snaps for you, baby.
It's Sunday again.
Oh, yeah.
It's Sunday.
Getting that cream.
I want the cream. Give daddy that cream.
Getting that cream. Getting that cream.
Brace yourself for the cream.
Hey, friends. Welcome to yet another very special episode of CPS. My name is Josh. I am become Cream Destroyer of Worlds, and with me, as always, is my right-hand man, my sweet little creamsicle, the Dairy King, the drumstick from down under, Baskin Robin Hood. Slick Rick, how you doing today?
I'm feeling like that last drop of cream in the can before you throw it away. I'm ready for the next can, man. Let's get it rolling. Let's get it going.
Indeed.
What's going on, man? How are you doing? It's a Sunday afternoon. You know, a little bit later. I had a buddy over.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did some alumni crap over at the college and just kind of hung around with a bunch of bros. It was an experience. It was kind of cool.
That's cool. Where'd you go?
Went to Keene State. There was just a house party, but it's like the Alpha Sig alumni crap that we do. So, I mean, that's hypothetically the only thing that I do all year that's fraternity related. But yeah, it was cool. Just like
You're gonna do that for like forever? Like go back to college and stuff? Like, is that like a lifelong thing or?
Well, not like forever. I mean, I'll probably go back. But I mean, the thing is, I only live 20 minutes away, so it's like I had my buddy JJ come up for the weekend, and I mean, we're typically the ones that show face anyways. I mean, we were only there for maybe like an hour or two, but no, it was a good time.
That's cool, man. I never was in a frat, so I don't really understand how any of it works or whatever. Did you guys, by the way, when you were in that frat, was there hazing? Like, was there some way you had to be accepted into the frat? What do they call the new recruits?
It's called like initiation, but yeah, it's they're called pledges. We didn't necessarily do any hazing. I mean, we did some shit that was like annoying, but I wouldn't consider it hazing by any means. But no, it was weird because like when I was going through college, my freshman year they asked me to join it, but they were actually like creating it. So this is just a group of like 20 random dudes on campus that were like, all right, let's put this fraternity together. Like we know of like this one, let's do it. So I joined my sophomore year, and then it was like everything we had to build from scratch. So my experience was basically like creating this program, like creating the rituals, building the shit that we would need at certain levels of it, like making the signs, having like being able to show face. And I was roster number 20, and now they're up to 123. So there's been 100 people after me, and it's wild to show up and be like, this thing is like such a well-oiled machine. And I saw it at the very beginning, and like, man, I was not able to appreciate this level of it because it took so long to like, they have a house with like 12 dudes and like they've got this huge freaking like they had such a sick setup, dude, and it was really cool, but it was just like I didn't get to experience that. So it's cool to come back and be like, I was laying the concrete, you guys were, enjoying the
castle.
building,
Yeah. Man, you're one of the godfathers. They should have a picture of you like in like old school type.
Yeah.
Just hanging
Or I
up.
could be like Dennis from It's Always Sunny. Like, I'm a legend. I'm a legend.
Yeah. I like that's like a common theme in movies and shows. They always go back. They're like, oh man, I'm a legend at that school. And then all the kids like beat the shit out of them. Yeah. Tase their nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember, what did Dennis say? He was like, he's like, oh no, we're just having a fun time. It's just like, so
like
uncomfortable.
He does that laugh, like it's his fake laugh, like that. Like he's pretending to have a good time. Yeah.
No, fuck that shit.
We made it.
We hit the 5-minute mark, you fucking cunts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good show, man. But no, it was
a great
cool.
show.
And then, but he doesn't drink, so I didn't drink this weekend. So it was kind of also different to be like at a house party and not just like
Sober?
Like, well, I wasn't sober, but I wasn't drinking. But I was. Yeah, it's weird to not. I mean, I was drinking water the whole freaking time. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
That's when good old liquid death comes in handy because it looks like a tall boy kind of, and you can walk around.
Yeah.
Good for shit like that. Yeah, we had a good weekend.
What'd you do this weekend, man? Tell me, give me some deets.
Well, man, so we went to this little town called Matthews, which is pretty close to here. It's a little bit closer to Charlotte than where we live, and they have a bunch of outdoor patios and stuff. And we sat in this patio. It was really nice on Friday. It was nice outside, so we sat in the patio, had a couple drinks, hung out. Dude, I got a complaint though, and it's happened at almost every restaurant I work at that has a patio too. Why do they just let fucking kids run around like unattended outside like it's a jungle gym when people are like trying to eat and stuff? Like if you're a parent and you have kids, like small kids, there were 3 kids. I don't know how old they were. Maybe one was like 8 and the other 2 were like 6. And then there was this like little baby who was like 2 or 3 that was tagging along behind them. These little girls are like climbing and jumping off of shit. And they're like landing right next to our table, just running, like playing tag and like running through waitresses and shit. Like, why the fuck do you let your kids do that? It's so annoying.
So was it like at like a pub or a
Yeah,
bar or something?
Well, yeah, it's like an Irish pub, but they have this giant outdoor patio area that has tables where they're serving food and drinks to people. So we're sitting at an actual table, and these kids are just running through the patio like it's their playground and like climbing on the railing and like running under other people's tables. And, you know, the waitresses are like trying to dodge them as they're walking out with trays of food and shit for like the whole time we were there. And like this girl jumped off these steps and like landed almost on Lita, like right next to her, like over and over again. It was like she was trying to see how close she could jump to us without landing on us. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? So
yeah, that's kind of obnoxious. I remember when I was a kid, we used to go to Essen House, and it was a German bar, and they had an arcade room, and they had family areas, and that was back when they would get the big glass boots full of beer, and
yeah.
But I used to do the same shit, but they had like dartboards, and they had all sorts of shit for like games.
Yeah,
but yeah, I remember being a little kid running around the bar, and I don't think it was probably a different kind of setting, but
yeah, it could be.
In a modern, like today, you should control your kids a little bit, because I remember I got lunch over at the place in Keene last year, and there was like 2 little kids running around like fucking nuts, and I think it was the grandpa like said one of their names and gave him a face, and that kid sat the fuck down real quick.
Good.
It was like holy shit.
What are you doing?
I'm like I hope I have that power over my kids when I have kids, but it was he didn't say a fucking word. He said their name and he looked at them and they just like. Their soul was sucked out of their body and they sat their ass down.
Yeah, dude. It's not even the kids' fault either, you know? Like, I don't blame the kids at all. It's the parents.
You're a spaz. Everybody's a spaz when they're a kid.
Yeah.
They just want to run around and break shit.
Yeah, and that's fine. Do kid stuff. But maybe, I mean, it was like 9 or 10 at night and it was a Friday night. Like, I understand your parents. Like, I'm not a parent, so I don't know what that's like. But I understand that you're parents and you want to get out of the house and shit. And maybe you can't find a babysitter or whatever. But you have the money to go to a bar. So I'm sure you have a few bucks to have somebody watch your kid, or just don't go to a fucking bar when you have small children. You know, like is that so crazy that you can't go to a bar for like a couple years while you have small kids, or like get a babysitter or go somewhere that's kid friendly or something? But it's 10 at night. We're trying to sit here and you know, on a patio and enjoy our Friday night, and you're kind of ruining everybody on the whole patio. You're ruining everybody's time. It's distracting. It's like a pet peeve of mine, dude, when kids just are allowed to run wild like that. Drives me fucking nuts. Because I want to call the server over and be like, yo, can you like tell whoever's parents these kids are to like watch them or something? Because we're trying to like sit here and we can't even do that, you know?
Yeah, for me, it's not a deal breaker to bring the kids, but have them sit at the fucking table. Like,
yeah.
How old do you need to be in order to sit at a table for a long period of time, be able to do that? Like, you need to be 3 or 4 years old, 5 years old.
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
sit them down, put them in one of those little high chair things, strap them up, and don't let them out. Don't let them run around and ruin Josh's dinner. That's not acceptable.
Give him a fucking iPad like every other parent does these days. I mean, that's probably worse too. I don't know, man. I don't know what the answer is. I just don't want to be interrupted while I'm trying to have a fucking cocktail on a patio at a fucking adult bar on a Friday night. I don't want to fucking be stepping over small children. But that's just me,
you just said it. But what do you think about parents sticking their phone or their iPads in their kids' faces and realizing like, oh wow, you're 8 years old. I haven't talked to you since you were 6 because I just keep throwing this fucking iPad at you. You know?
Yeah, it's
or is
tough.
that normal? It's so normal now, dude.
Now it is. It's tough, man, because I'm not a parent, so I don't want to like speak to that without having kids. But it is kind of fucking weird, I will say. And it can't be good for the kid. I mean, and then when you see like even worse, when you see a kid that's like 10 that has like an iPhone, like their own phone. Like, at what age do you let? Because everybody needs to have a smartphone now to like be a part of society, basically. But what age is appropriate for a kid to have a smartphone? Like, is it when they start driving? Is it when do you wait till they're 18? I mean, that seems too late. Everybody in high school already has one. I don't want my kid to be the fucking weird kid that doesn't have a phone, you know?
Well, so much of life is accessibility because it's the same thing as, you know, when did you watch your first rated R movie, or when's the first time you had a cell phone? When would you open a bank account? Like it's this shit's just happened younger and younger, and even just giving a kid you give a kid an iPad and maybe they don't know how to use it, and before you realize, like, they know how to search the internet, and that is like a very dangerous tool to have because it's not that they have to get into something, but they can get in, like, something can get into like what they're doing, and then all of a sudden they're, you know, like these freaking brainwashing people on YouTube with like these little animation cartoons or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's gonna come out in 10 years from now where it's like, no, that was all anti-Semitic sharks in the water, and they're eating Jewish fish and dolphins and stuff. And it's like, oh, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. My kid's 10. I give him a phone. Like, next day he's a flat earther. What the fuck happened? Little Timmy thinks the Earth is flat now. Great, you know. And he's watching hardcore porn because you're giving the kid unfettered access to all information that's ever existed in the palm of his hand. I don't know if you're ready for that responsibility when you're 10, let alone when you're 20 or 30. Half the fucking people that are adults, more than half, are addicted to their phone. You know, it's going to be like, I think in like another 10, 20 years after we realize how fucked up everybody is from this shit, it's going to be like cigarettes were in the 70s with like social media and stuff. They're going to be like, you know, limit your use. But back in the day, everybody was on their phone all the time. It was crazy. There's going to be like designated zones where you're allowed to like use Facebook, like where you're allowed to smoke cigarettes now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be so bad for you psychologically to just, and I'm addicted to my phone, man. I'm sure you are too. Everybody is. It's crazy. But I don't know, dude, giving a kid that addiction that young, like at least smartphones didn't even exist until we were in high school. Like late high school, right? When was the first iPhone?
Yeah, because the first iPhone came out, I think, when we were in high school. But I because I didn't have an actual cell phone until freshman year of college.
Yeah,
and it was a touch screen, but it wasn't an iPhone.
Right.
And then the next phone I got was like the phone where you put it sideways and you slid it up, and there was the keyboard on the bottom half. I had that for like 2.
Was it the Envy?
No, it was whatever the Virgin Mobile version was, but it was basically the same thing. But I had that for 2 years because I told myself, well, when the front screen, the touch screen breaks, at least that way I can use the keyboard and still navigate it. So it was kind of like planning for like, and that's what happened. It ended up failing, and then the only way I could do anything was doing it by using the keyboard.
But back when,
but I remember the iPhone 6, dude, that was such a game changer. But I had iPod touches all through high school and shit. Like even like senior year of high school, after we did the Kindness Gorilla, I used the winnings from that competition to buy myself an iPod Touch.
I had an iPod Touch in high school too. That was my first touch screen ever too, and it was like brand new. It was like one of the new things at the time.
Would you say that's like your first smart device? I would say that's my first.
Yeah.
You couldn't do everything. You could do quite a bit though. I mean, that was the first time you had access in your hand other than a laptop.
Right. What's crazy is phone sizes and shapes have changed so much. If you look at like an iPhone 4 now, because that was my first iPhone, it's so small compared to like the iPhones and Androids that we have today. Like it's like it's almost like it looks like half the size. it's crazy how small they were, but it doesn't seem like it was small at the time. But we were comparing it to like the regular iPod and like the iPod Nano and shit. So I remember I used to have an iPod. I would play chess on it, and it was like the clicking wheel, like the, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, those were, go through like the list of like all the phones you have had. Like what were like some old phones that you had back in the day?
Well, the first phone, so a girlfriend in high school got me a flip phone that I used for maybe 6 months. And then it was pretty much and then I switched not switched, but I started Virgin Mobile like right after high school. I had that touch phone and then the flip key phone, iPhone 6, and then I think I'm on the iPhone 11 now.
Yep.
But yeah, that's it. So yeah, I guess only like 5 phones.
Okay. I think I probably have had similar. I had this gray flip phone.
That's a lie. I had another phone for like 3 weeks and it didn't work for shit, and I ended up smashing it, so I couldn't return it. So I had 6 phones. I forgot the HTC. I have it fucking smashed in a shoebox right behind me.
Oh shit. That's funny. Yeah, I had this fucking gray brick was my first phone, and my parents gave it to me because of football and shit. They wanted to be able to call me if I needed, they needed to get in touch with me for some reason. And that was when I was 16, my first phone, and it was this big gray brick. It was a flip phone. And it was back when you had to text people, and you only had a limited text. Like you had 50 texts a month you could send, or each text cost like an additional 10 cents or whatever.
Yeah, I used to pay 15 cents a text, dude.
Yeah. How crazy is like the fact that was a thing is or even minutes. Like there was a certain amount of minutes you could talk a month. And if you go over, like you're fucked. Your phone bill like doubles,
Yeah.
Which was wild. What a crazy world. And then to text people, you had to like smash the buttons.
But you could talk at like on a Thursday night after from like 8 to 10. You could talk as long as you wanted or something, or like overnights. Yeah.
Right. The certain times of the day where, And then, to text somebody, you had to hit like 2-3 times to get to whatever letter that is, F, Like you had to tick, 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 tick. And that's why texting abbreviations came to be like BRB or, like you use C instead of SEE or U instead of YOU, because it was such a pain in the ass to fully type those out. Like nowadays, you don't even use those anymore because you could just type the word and it knows what the word is, But back then, you had to be like, like it was easier to hit 8 or whatever. Like I don't know. Yeah. So.
Well, the thing is back then there was, texting and driving will always be a thing. But I know when cell phones first came out, it was a huge deal because like we were the 16-year-olds that would like be texting and driving. Yeah. And now
it wasn't illegal yet.
I don't really text and drive now, but if I were to do it, it would be a lot easier. I would do it in like a third of the time and I wouldn't crash my car. But back in the day when people were typing full messages and, I got to go back and delete this, and all of a sudden they're over the median and then wham, they're dead. Yeah. They're dead, It's like, oh, man.
Yeah. What an idiot. Oh, I'm texting. Oh, look at me. I'm dead. What a freak. But yeah. Then I had the Razor. I had a Razor that was passed down to me from my parents that they didn't use anymore, which was the shit. I thought it was so cool because I had a Razor. Remember those things? Yeah. They were like the flat phone. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then that had iTap on it. So you would hit the buttons and it would guess the word. It was like this new technology. So you didn't have to hit each button individually multiple times. So that was cool. And but you still couldn't like get on the internet or anything like that. And then I had the Envy, which would pop up. I always thought Tim Broughton had the fucking Sidekick. And he'd walk around and fucking, it was the phone where the screen spun around. Yeah. And you opened it and it always looked so cool. Like he'd pop it open. And then I think after that, I might have had like 1 or 2 other typing phones. And then I got my first iPhone, and I've had an iPhone ever since. Whether it's the 4 or the 8 or the 10 or the one I have now, I think it's the 14. I think I've had 4 iPhones. Yeah. So I probably have had 7 or 8 phones.
Yeah. I rode the Android train long enough to realize that the iPhone is just so much more user-friendly, and I'm not really looking to customize my shit, so to an extent, the iPhone does what I need, and it does it well. So that's why I probably will not make the jump back to Android. Even like a Google Pixel phone or whatever it is, I don't even feel the need to try that. It's like, why would I want to relearn a different how to like all the shortcuts and how to I don't know.
Right, yeah. Like you don't know how to take a screenshot anymore. Like it's different. And then you don't know how to like everything on the iPhone. Remember the big thing about the iPhone is when they got rid of the home button. Everyone's freaking out. Like, how the fuck are we gonna go to the home screen? You know?
Yo, that was the easiest transition ever.
I know. The home screen button was cool though, because for a while it was just a button, and then it became like it read your fingerprint, you know, and then they got rid of it. And then now it's just all face, you know?
Yeah.
Face recognition. Which all this stuff that's happened in the past 10 years with phones, it seems like major technological advances. I remember when I first used my phone for Apple Pay to pay for something was like just a few years ago. And I was like, damn, this is like the future. Now it's like standard. That was the same time the chip technology allowed you to tap rather than shove your card into the machine
or swipe.
Right, yeah, it was always swipe, and now swipe is just such old news. Nobody swipes anymore. And then then they added the chip. I remember we were like one of the last countries on board with the chip, but it was more secure, so they wouldn't be able to steal your number from the magnetic strip. And then that happened. That was a pain in the ass because it seemed to take forever. Like we got to fucking shove the actual card into the machine now every time. This sucks. And that only lasted like 2 years, and then before they had the tap technology. But yeah, now it's just like standard. Nobody thinks about it. But that was a crazy new thing. It's like, if you talk to my dad though, if you talk to these older folks, my dad remembers the first time he had an answering machine, and it blew his mind. Like they can leave me a message when I'm not home. That's fucking crazy. Or like call waiting. Like call waiting never existed. They would just get the busy signal. So then he's like, holy shit, I can get multiple calls at once?
Yeah, but even bring that back to the first time you had a television in your house. That was a huge deal too.
Yeah.
Like 3 channels.
Yeah.
1 channel. I don't even know, dude.
Wild. Yeah, what a crazy world.
I mean, even growing up, I used my VCR for everything. So I like played my PlayStation 2 in the VCR, and then I would like record South Park and stand-up comedy and make these like little mixtapes and shit. So I've got random little stuff that I'm using, but
yeah,
it was it's just, I mean, now everything is, if you want to stream something, you click a button and you watch it. Back in the day, you had to accrue a fund in order to buy a physical item and then insert it into another device and connect it into your television, and then use the remote and then find a place to sit. And now it's just in your hand. It's just insanity, man.
Yeah, speaking of technology, dude, I don't know if you saw my Instagram story of last week, but it was after, obviously after we had recorded the podcast, I think, and everything.
Yeah.
But the AI technology is in Snapchat now. So there's a Snapchat AI for everybody. Have you used it at all?
No, but I've seen conversations, and it's a little weird. Not gonna lie.
So I was testing its limits, and I just sent it a picture of our cat. And it sends back immediately a full paragraph. Oh, what a cute cat you have. You know, like it just knows what it is. It's like, what the fuck? And I turned my location off in Snapchat because I don't want it to like know where I am. Although it's stupid because, you know, other apps know where I am. They track where I am. Everybody knows where everybody is. But I'm asking Snapchat AI, I'm like, hey, do you know what my location is? Just to see. And it's like, no, you turn your location off. So there's no way of me knowing where you are. And I'm like, okay, but are you lying? And it says, no, I'm not lying. There's no way I can know where you are. You turn your location services off. Okay. I say, okay, well, where's the nearest McDonald's? And it says, there's a McDonald's about 1.5 miles away from you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we're fucked. It's crazy.
Does this thing have a name? Do we just call it AI? Can we give it a name? Is it like can we talk to Chuck or something? Like, yeah, I was talking to Chuck and he
yeah, I think it's just calling itself
AI.
my AI. It's just calling itself my AI, yeah. Because I asked it what its name was.
I mean, I love swearing at Siri back in the day.
Yeah, you can swear at this thing. Just wait, though. They're all going to team up together, create a super AI, and kill us all.
There's going to be a generation of kids that grew up talking to Snapchat, and that's how they communicate, is with somebody that doesn't actually exist.
Yeah. Well, just wait. It's almost indistinguishable from a human now, the way it speaks. The only thing that it's obviously not a person because it answers you so fast and so eloquently. It'll give you like a full paragraph answer almost immediately. It's even faster than ChatGPT because ChatGPT like will type it out. The Snapchat AI version, just boom, paragraph, instant.
Yo, is AI going to take away the customer service industry? Are they going to like fix everything just doing it over? Because eventually it's going to get to the point where you can just talk to it and they'll tell you step by step how to do it. And they're not going to have to hire a 11-year-old over in India to tell me how to fix my printer at work.
Right. I think it already is in a lot of ways. I mean, automated assistance has been a thing for like 10 years, but now with this, oh yeah, dude. And what's going to be crazy is you won't be able to distinguish whether it's an AI or a person on the other end. So it probably would be better. You know, they're not going to have to pay anybody.
It plays both ways though, dude, because I feel like scamming now is going to be so realistic and like so it's going to be so hard to differentiate. I'm sure we're going to get to that point. We're going to be 50 years old and something's going to happen and we're going to be like, oh, well, I didn't see that one coming. I thought I was aware. And all of a sudden, you know, my life savings is over in Thailand or something. And it's like, I don't know, man. They got me. They got me. I thought my wife was real. It says she was a robot for the last 30 years. So,
it's gonna get to the point where we're doing a podcast, and let's say for some reason the podcast still exists in 20 years, and we're 50, and we're doing a podcast, right? And then halfway through the podcast, you'll be convincing me to buy something, and be like, how it changed your life and how it's great. In a full podcast, you'll make it about this one thing. And then I'll look at my phone after we're done recording the podcast, and I'll see a text from you earlier that morning that says, dude, can't do the podcast today. Something came up. And I'll be like, what? We just had the podcast. And it turns out my phone blocked the message from being seen. And it was just me talking to an AI the entire time.
Or imagine I set myself up to speak for AI and you're doing the same. And we discovered the same day. We both like, all right, dude, I'll be honest. Last 5 years, it's been my AI. And you're like, bro, me too. And for 5 years, we've just been doing a fully computerized podcast. And both of us were like, fuck, man, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
God damn. It's wild because even a couple months ago, this wasn't even like part of the conversation. And now it's like all this shit happens and I never really pay fully attention to it. And then a couple months goes by and it's like, okay, well, this isn't as bad or as crazy as I thought it would be, but I feel like I'm always late to the party on this kind of stuff. Like,
by the time it's around, it's already too late. It's already like a thing. You're a late adopter or whatever.
The time I asked what a meme was, I was like, hey, Clive, what the hell is a meme? And he's like, what? He's like, you mean a meme? I'm like, oh, yeah, a meme. I don't know. I have no idea. But the shit was on the internet for weeks and I keep seeing these pictures and texts and I have no idea what's going on. And I had to ask somebody, but I don't know. Sometimes I'm just oblivious to this shit. What's a meme?
That's funny. Man. Well, dude, so Meta, you know, the metaverse, the company that owns Facebook is now Meta. Yeah. And they have the fucking VR and everything, and it didn't really catch on. Like nobody wanted to like move to the metaverse yet. Yeah. Although it's a big thing because Facebook also owns, I think, the Oculus, which is now called the Meta Quest or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I saw a video from 2 days ago. Zuckerberg released a full video of realistic avatars now that are available in the metaverse. And he does this full commercial of his head, like talking about it, and it looks exactly like his head. And then halfway through the video, it breaks down, and it turns out it's not even his actual real head. It's like a scanned version of it. So you can like have your avatar in the metaverse now look exactly like your actual head. So, and it has the same facial expressions. It literally is almost indistinguishable from your actual real head. So it might be a big comeback for the metaverse. We'll see. It's creepy.
Even before all that even started, there was deep faking. But I love seeing that shit where somebody will use a clip from Step Brothers, but instead of the guys, it'll be Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they have like their voice change and their face change and shit. I like that stuff a lot. I'm a very simple man. I appreciate those types of things.
You want to do karate in the garage? Yeah.
You see that smudge right there? Randy Jackson.
Man. So still doing stand-up. Did one more gig. I actually, there was a limited open mic on Tuesday this week, so I didn't have the chance to sign up. I was one off the list. It's a little bit more artsy of a venue, that place, but I went back up on Wednesday again. And I bombed definitely for the first minute or two. It was rough. But I won them back over, I think. I had a few jokes. But I thought, in my head, it was a good idea to get up there and just scream into the microphone, like, you know, and then progressively get louder. And then at the end, just be going like, you know, like that. And then make a funny face, and then be like, "That's my impression of me looking at a seal at the zoo." And I thought it would be a funny joke, but it turns out it did not translate well on stage. And all these people are like yelling, "He has COVID!" Like, I recorded myself, not in video. I recorded myself not in video but in audio, and I can hear myself making the noises. And then I hear somebody in the audience go, "Okay." Then I hear another guy go, "He has COVID." And then it did not work out well, but the cum eating bit went over well. And I'm working on a Chick-fil-A bit. I'm working on a couple other bits I'm going to try out this week. So yeah,
nice,
the struggle
man.
continues.
Cool.
Yep.
I like that.
Hey, I watched, we've talked about these movies when they were coming out, but we actually never talked about like a follow-up for them. So both of them are streaming now. Cocaine Bear and Violent Night. Did you see either of them?
I have not seen either.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Don't bother.
No.
Yeah. Cocaine Bear might be the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh, jeezers.
Yeah, it starts off promising. Like, it's not too bad off the jump. But if you finish the movie, I'll be impressed. Because after about the halfway point, dude, it's like, sheesh. Lose interest. It's just dumb. I mean, I knew it was going to be dumb. I didn't realize it was going to be that bad. Because they try and make it like a real story, too. Like, they're trying too hard to make it, like, have an actual plot.
Yeah.
And the plot is so bad, nobody gives a fuck. But yeah, it is not good. Very violent a couple times.
I saw this movie on Friday. It was called Black Box. Have you seen this? It's on streaming somewhere.
No. Sounds familiar.
It's got the same lead actor as one of my favorite series on Netflix. I think it was like Archive 39 or something like that. But the movie's called Black Box, and it's this guy. He's got a daughter, and the wife is out of the picture. I think she died somehow. And I'm just gonna give spoilers all the way through. He's just very confused, and his daughter is really just kind of coaching him through life, and he's got like amnesia. He doesn't know where to go, what to say, who to talk to, and it's just kind of confusing right from the jump. And by the end of the movie, you realize that they put a dead man's like brain, or I don't even know how they made the transfer. It was like a weird web thing that they put on their brain. They put on an Oculus, and they go through this like psychedelic experience. But long story short, the lady doctor that did that to the physical body put her dead son's like spirit into this guy's head. So this guy kept having flashbacks of like his actual life, and but it was basically like this ghost living in this other guy's body, and he gets to the point where he just kind of like gives the body back to the host of the body because he feels bad because he discovered he was a piece of shit, and his wife threw him down the stairs because he was physically abusive, and he like somehow steps out of the driver's seat and gives it back to the host body. But that's why this guy was so confused, because it wasn't actually his memories that he was having. It was really fucking confusing, and I was a little zooted at the time, and I kind of was able to keep up, but it was kind of a cool movie. It was definitely making you think about, the potential for that kind of shit to happen.
Black Box
on streaming.
Sounds like my friend's favorite porn category, if you catch my drift. But yeah, Black Box. Oh, you know what I did watch? Fucking, what's his name there?
You said the trailer for Twisted Metal on Peacock?
I didn't see the trailer. I saw an ad. I saw just like a still ad for it.
Yeah, dude. I'm pumped. It's going to have Falcon from Avengers. I don't know what else he was in. He was in We Have a Ghost. He was the dad in that.
Oh, yeah, that guy. Black dude.
And then there's the wrestler, Samoa Joe from AEW. He's going to play Sweet Tooth, but the voice for Sweet Tooth will be done by Will Arnett. So that'll be fucking killer. So
that's interesting.
A little 3-second clip in there. So I'm thinking that's going to be super cool, dude.
Will Arnett is a funny voice for that body.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
He's kind of like a fatter looking Samoan. He's got like little man titties.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, M. Night Shyamalan is the movie I saw. The one with the end of the world.
Oh, with Batista.
Yeah, Batista is underrated as an actor. For guys like that, he might be. He's definitely a better actor than The Rock. I think he's a good actor, actually.
The thing is he's paving the way for somebody that size and that look and that build and that kind of mindset to like be a modern. Like you're gonna see a lot more people like that in films because he's like kind of paving the way for that type of character to be involved.
Like
which is really
wrestler
cool
types.
because. Yeah, because I mean, even if, like, say 10 years down the road, if I get into doing movies and shit, like, I'm going to be a big, either fat or, like, muscular guy covered in tattoos, and, like, that's my fucking, I need him to pave the way for me, basically.
He's
So
representing,
keep it up,
bro.
buddy.
Yeah.
Keep it up, dude.
Yeah, he's enormous. He's so jacked. He's a big man.
guy. Yeah.
But he's such a good actor, though. Like, it was totally believable. It wasn't corny the way he was doing it. And it was impressive. I think the movie was actually pretty damn good. I'm not going to lie. No crazy twists, really, like a typical Shyamalan movie. But,
Yeah.
I mean, you're kind of on the fence at a couple points in the movie where you don't know who's right and who's wrong. But other than that, I mean, there's not like a crazy twist, but good movie. I thought it was cool.
Did you watch all the Guardians of the Galaxies, or of Drax when he played Drax in that?
Yeah, I know he played Drax in that. I saw the first one. I wasn't really into it after that. I don't know.
But the thing is he had to play that role, and that role is very different from like a serious. Because what was the name of that movie? A Cabin in the Woods?
Yeah, Cabin in the Woods. No, Knock at the Cabin, I think.
Knock at the Cabin. That's what it was.
Cabin in
Knock
the
at
Woods
Cabin.
is that other movie. The old movie with they go to a cabin and they all die one by one.
Yeah, with like the computer or they're like being monitored or whatever.
Right.
Like
yeah.
a
the
control
game.
station.
It's like
that was
sacrifice.
That was a wild movie.
That movie was good too, actually.
Yeah. But even Batista, when he comes out and he talks to, I forgot the girl's name, but that like the very opening scene to that movie, that is such like superb acting. Like,
no, it's great.
It's I love it, dude. That opening sequence, I was like, all right, I'm buckled in, dude. I'm ready for a good experience, and I thought it was pretty good because I thought it in theaters, but it was,
the way that he just walks out of the woods and this giant terrifying man is just talking so nice and sweetly to this little Asian girl. And I'm going to be your friend. What's your name? It turns out it's because he's actually a second grade teacher, so he's good with kids,
He like shakes her hand, and like his hand is like 5 times the size. It's like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah. It's like, whoa. Yeah.
That was
good
cool.
flick.
I like those kinds of stories, dude. That was really good storytelling in that.
That is one cool thing that M. Night Shyamalan does, is he does still have movies that make you think that aren't the typical blockbuster shit that we get shoved down our throats every couple months. It's like every movie now is like a remake or a sequel or a prequel or something else that's related or a spin-off. There's nothing original, really, that comes out anymore. And it's because like they don't want to take the risk of giving money to a new idea. But M. Night Shyamalan has so many successful movies that are just random ideas that, every movie is unique in its own way. So he's kind of like one of the last directors that's still doing that, really.
Did you watch Split and Glass and like that trilogy? Dude, those I like that trilogy quite a bit because it didn't. They were kind of interconnected. Definitely the third one was more, but the first one and the second one, it was just kind of cool that there was like, all right, same universe, and then the third one they bring it all together. That was
it's Bruce Willis, right? Isn't one of them?
And
what's that movie called? Unbreakable, right? Unbreakable, I think it is, or something like that.
Yeah, it's he survives the train crash and he's immortal basically.
Right. Yeah, it's a cool idea. I wasn't really a fan of those, but I appreciate the story behind them, I thought they were a little wacky.
Dude, Split was like uncomfortably good. It was it was very eerie and very sketchy, and especially just the whole
well, he has like multiple personalities,
right? Yeah, he had like 10 different people in his head. Yeah, that was just even did you see Glass, the third one?
No, I saw the first two, and I know that they tied together in the third one, but I just didn't like the first two that much. So I'm like,
Yeah, I won't. Yeah, they're like flashing him with lights to force him to go to the next character, and they're trying to pull one out, and just the way they shoot it, and I don't know, The whole way that was set up was pretty cool. I thought that was neat.
I remember the trailer was great for Split because it showed him like talking as like the little boy or whatever. And it's saying, no, that's not me. It's kind of like that episode of South Park, man, with the Butters and the personality disorders. Yeah. It's funny. It turns out he's just the Asian guy the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, isn't it like the Chinese and the Japanese guys are on top of that building and they're about to like kill each other and the guy just jumps from the building?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
The stereotype that Japanese people kill themselves. Which is true. I mean, they can't deal with shame and whatever it is in that culture. It's maybe it's leftover samurai stuff or whatever. But what's that famous suicide forest? I think it's in Japan, right? Where everybody goes to
go in there and never come back. I think they made a movie about it not too long ago too. I wanted to check that out, but it's I don't know. I try not to watch that kind of shit and like get sucked into that kind of shit.
Yeah, it's a weird headspace to put yourself in, especially before bed. But
yeah,
dude, the funniest in that South Park is when they're doing the assembly. Did you know China and Japan are actually different countries? And the guy's like, oh, really?
Oh. Yeah. I saw there's the new couple episodes of Beavis and Butthead online on Paramount now. So I think there's 3 out right now. I've only seen the first one. Well, each episode is 2 episodes, but yeah, man, I'm glad that that's the thing because I waited for new Beavis and Butthead for so freaking long, and I think Mike Judge kind of waited for a time where you can put out that content and not have it like ride so strongly on how good it actually is, because so much of that is nostalgic that as bad as it is or could be, I will always go back and watch it. Yeah, but it's just I think now, I mean, hell, dude, I feel maybe Hank Hill is having another season coming back or something. Dude. I know Aqua Teen Hunger Force just got like opened up for a new season and they just put out a new movie like last year, and all these animated things are just making comebacks, dude, because it's like, why the fuck not?
Yeah, I watched the first episode or whatever of the new Beavis and Butthead. I thought it was okay. The meditation one. Yeah. It's kind of funny. I don't know. Sometimes like it's either a funny episode or it's not, I think. And sometimes it's just like, I don't know. You gotta be in the right mindset, I guess. But I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I love Beavis and Butthead. Don't get me wrong. It's just, I sometimes when they're showing the videos now, where they're making fun of the YouTube videos and the TikToks or whatever, instead of just straight MTV music videos. Yeah. The commentary, like half the videos, I'm not even aware of them. I'm like, okay. It's just kind of, I mean, it is what it always was, right? It's just too juvenile. It's a bunch of juvenile jokes and dumb shit, but it's not always like laugh out loud funny, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't been. The last time I got really excited about a show, because even we talk about this every freaking week, but Better Call Saul, I have like no interest finishing it. I will at some point, but watching Ozark, I think that was the last show that I was like, holy shit, this is freaking spectacular, dude.
I got one for you, dude. I got a new one for you that I watched with Lita. We binged it over the course of 2 or 3 days. Beef, okay. I've seen it at the top of the streaming shit every time I go on there. Yeah, what's her name? Ali Wong, I think her name. I watched her stand up. She's funny. She's a good comic. Mm-hmm. And she's the lead female character in the show. And then I think it's the same guy that plays what's his name in The Walking Dead? The Asian fellow that gets his brains beat in by Negan.
I know who you're talking about.
I think he's the lead. I've seen him in a couple things recently. He's a good actor. But dude, the show is really good. You should check it out. That was a good show. And another great show, which is more, I suppose, less violent, but more psychological, is The White Lotus. White Lotus is really good too. I would check those two out. Those are the 2 best shows I've seen in a long time.
What's White Lotus about?
Well, so the hotel's name is White Lotus, and there's 2 seasons, and both seasons are different stories completely. But it's just a different White Lotus hotel. I think the first one takes place in, it's definitely like a Caribbean place. Hawaii. Oh, no, it's not Caribbean. It's in Hawaii. The first one takes place in Hawaii, the first season. The second one takes place in, I want to say Spain? No, it's a European version, but it's just another hotel in Europe. Yeah, but it's good. It's good. You'll see. Like, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but there's some famous people in both seasons. It's really good.
You ever see that show, the Boys?
Yeah, I watched the first 2 seasons.
Is that any good? I know it's supposed to be very gory and very violent, so I think I would like it. But the problem is I can't really put that on and have Emily sit and watch or read a book as there's all this shit going on.
It's basically, it's a cool idea. It's if superheroes were real, what they would actually be like is the whole idea. Mm-hmm. And they're narcissistic, power-hungry douchebags. So there's like the Captain America / Superman guy. Mm-hmm. And then there's like a guy that's similar to like the Flash. But yeah, they're all crazy narcissists. They're basically like celebrities. Yeah. And they do fucked up shit behind closed doors. And it's all like politically driven, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, good show. I'd say it's very dark. The first couple of seasons were pretty good. And then I kind of lost interest. It always gets a little wacky, man. Like the magic for a great show for the first couple of seasons, it's hard to keep that going. That's why it's always impressive when you have a show that's so good, where they all have like their peaks and valleys, where like you have a good season, perhaps you have a bad season, but then they always find a way to bring it back up. Like Breaking Bad did that so well throughout the whole series, where they'll have something like nothing crazy has happened for like 5 or 6 episodes, and then Walter White drives out with a car and runs 2 people over, shoots a guy in the head and says, "Get in." You know, it's like, what the fuck? Like crazy shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I mean, you know, there's good shows out there, guy. You just got to find them.
Yeah. I might go back and I don't even know if it's on Netflix anymore, but The Punisher, the series on Netflix. I was a big fan of that. Dude, big John Bernthal, that also the same with the movie Fury. Dude, I've seen Fury so many times. I fucking love that movie.
Yeah, that's the one with Brad Pitt too, right?
Yeah, and Shia LaBeouf. Yeah, they're in the tank in World War II and over in Germany. Yeah,
and they know they're gonna die, right? The whole time, and they're just trying to fight off as many people as they can in the meantime. And they're stuck in a tank.
They're just trying to hold their ground because their tank is fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I get goosebumps. Yeah. That's like that and Saving Private Ryan, dude. Those are like my 2 favorite war movies by far. I've seen that quite a bit too.
Yeah, I would put Inglourious Bastards as a war movie though.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think I like that one better than the other Brad Pitt one that you were saying.
Yeah.
It's cool though. It's cool when you have a movie that there's only one setting where it's either a flashback or they're in the tank. It's kind of like did you ever see that movie with what the fuck's his name where he's stuck in the coffin? The entire movie. He's buried alive. I think it's called Buried. I think it's Ryan Reynolds.
I don't believe so.
The whole movie takes place inside a coffin. It's like an 1.5-hour movie. And what they used to do is they used to bury people alive and hold them for ransom. And if you give them the money, they would tell you like the coordinates and you can go dig them up. So, yeah. And the whole time he's in the coffin. The whole movie. Wild.
Do you think that would be the most terrifying situation to be in? Like wake up in a coffin underground? And, like, do you think that's like the worst thing that could happen?
What's crazy is I think they have like an oxygen tank that shows like they're feeding him oxygen, but it has a limited supply. So he's just slowly running out of oxygen. Yeah, I mean, that's up there. That's up there. Because you can't realistically get out. You'd get crushed and drown in dirt. I mean, that's rough. You know, they used to have people that just were sleeping and then they would bury them alive and they would dig them up. They would find like scratch marks on the inside of the coffin. And so they started like having a rope that would go down to the coffin with a bell up by the gravestone. So if somebody was still alive, they could like ring the bell. Yeah.
Was it, I think it was Kill Bill 1 when Uma Thurman did the pointed fingers and then the punch through the coffin and she broke her way out of her coffin and climbed to the surface.
Yeah.
Kill Bill. That's I don't think I could do that, but that was a killer scene because it makes you so uncomfortable and you know that if she's not able to do this, she's going to die. And she just keeps doing it. She's getting covered in dirt then all of a sudden her hand just breaks through the top of the soil.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, that is fucking baller, dude. That is so cool.
It's a cool scene. I mean, that whole movie's unrealistic. I don't know if that you could actually do that. I mean, 6 feet of dirt, dude. Think about that. Think about how heavy that is. And then you gotta like climb your way through it. I think that, I don't know if it's even possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure, but it makes for a damn good movie.
Sure does. Yeah, the classic hand through the dirt coming out of the grave.
I would love to go back and just watch the Quentin Tarantino movies, dude. Because Reservoir Dogs is out on Netflix, and Pulp Fiction is up there every couple months. And
yeah, watch them in order.
I've kind of realized that now is the streaming stuff. They cycle through shows so much faster now because there's so much content out there.
Yep.
That even Lord of the Rings, there was a full month before I said, all right, well, I'll tune into this. I watched the first 2, and then all of a sudden the third one's gone. It's like, oh shit, I missed the window. The window came and went, dude. I totally missed it.
What's funny is how they bounce from streaming service to streaming service. Like whoever owns the rights sells the rights to Netflix for like 2 months.
Yeah.
And then now they're shopping for somebody else, and now Peacock will buy 2 months worth and put it on Peacock for 2 months. Like they'll just jump around. Like The Office is on Peacock now. The Office was always a Netflix thing, you know?
Yeah, they made a lot of money off that, dude.
Yeah, I mean, so many people signed up for Peacock just to watch The Office.
Yeah.
I think it's Peacock. I think.
Emily said it the other day. We watched so much Trailer Park Boys. Okay, let me rephrase that. Trailer Park Boys is playing so much on our TV that probably the only reason that they're still on Netflix is because we're paying for them to stay on there.
Yeah.
The amount of episodes that we crank through in a week, dude, like we are alone paying for them to stay on Netflix.
It's a classic.
I don't know why that's a thing. I don't even know why that's a thing. I don't even feel like I necessarily want to watch it anymore. And she's like, no, let's put it on. I'm like, all right, whatever.
It's good. It's good to put on in the background, you know?
Yeah. It is what it is. It's her, she says it calms, she says it's that and The Office. Those are the 2 things that mellows her out, which is so stressed out, is puts on Trailer Park Boys and it kind of chills her out. So
those are Cody Allen's 2 go-to shows when I lived with him. I would just walk past his door and either hear the Trailer Park Boys theme song or the Office theme song. And he'd be fucking, his TV volume would be on like 72. And it'd be like 1 in the morning and I just hear, you know, like, fuck. He's just in there fucking,
AC blasting. He's got a,
Yeah. He always like would have a humidifier going. So it was like cold and damp. And he'd put, a pound of Vicks Vapor Rub on his chest and just lay there and eat and watch Trailer Park Boys.
And his giant fucking furry hobbit feet just hanging off the side of the bed.
Yeah. Oh, man. Good days. Good days. Early 20s. Yep. All right, buddy. Well, another nostalgic episode. A lot of old shit. Didn't even really have to look at my phone again. We're just ripping through old stories these past couple weeks. I love it. Little inside scoop of our prior lives, if you will.
Yeah, I'm trying not to look. The only one that I didn't look at my phone, but I knew I wanted to talk about the Twisted Metal thing a little bit. But yeah, that's I came with a blank slate, and I came away with a painting worthy of a cream god.
We came, we saw, we creamed
again
on his butt. Again. All right, folks. Well, do you want to tie a cute little ribbon on this thing there, Rick?
I would love to, my friend.
Send it to the crematorium.
Okay, so when you're sitting there and your belly is quaking, and you got 2 more scoops of that delicious cream to go, sometimes you just gotta unbuckle the front of your pants and just down the gullet. So just keep on creaming, keep on dreaming, baby.
Couldn't have said it better myself. We'll see you next week, folks.